What's going on, you guys? Welcome back. I'm feeling amazing today, as you probably can tell. I've been feeling so good spending time with the Lord. I've been back in my morning post, and that's really been refueling me. And I'm gonna start off with that today. Today's gonna be a chit chat. I don't know how long this video is gonna be, but what I do know is it's gonna be just like us chitting and chatting today. And I want to drop some nuggets on y'all. And today's topic, before I even start chit chatting, is that leaders. Christian leaders or people, when God puts us in position, we don't have the luxury to crash out. And this title was inspired by our morning group meeting on Clubhouse, which if y'all want to join that, I highly suggest you do. It's something about being in a group of believers where like that's how we were meant to thrive, right? Like you ever feel like you are go around other believers who have faith too, and all of a sudden you get more on fire, they share revelation and you share revelation, and the next thing you know it's just like poof. That's why, because the body is supposed to be together. If there's an arm over here, leg over here, foot over there, like yeah, it's an arm, it's a leg, but for the body to be functionable, it has to be a full body. And so me returning back to these clubhouse meetings in the morning, people might be like, Clubhouse is played out, but listen, my pastor is legit, in this group that they put together is a powerhouse, and they've been going hard for a while. So if y'all want me to put that in this description, let me know. Anyways, I'm gonna get into this topic. That leaders or us Christians, we don't have the luxury to crash out. And you might say leaders, but if you are a Christian, you are a leader. You are leading a Christ-like life, right? God puts you in a position somewhere, whether it's you're a high school or middle school kid, you're a leader at school. If you, and I don't know if y'all listening to this, if you are at work, God has positioned you to be a leader. You don't need a title to lead a Christ-centered life, to walk out his values and to be set apart. You just live and you lead naturally by example. Okay. So I'm gonna just go into this. Like I said, so the first thing that I want to say is like uh I want y'all to think about this. Everybody, you ever know that one person in your life, think about it, that the world could be falling apart and this person is just calm and they're centered and they're put together. That is kind of how we are called to be an anchor in this world, not because things are not looking scary, looking like they're falling apart, not even because it's not maybe a physical reality, but because we are centered in Christ. And when we are centered in Christ, we know that he's in charge. And so it leaves less of a time for us to flip out, because we know if things are falling apart, God already has a plan. Jeremiah 29:11. Go check it out. All right. Or maybe you are that person, right? Maybe you're that person. You're going to see me looking at my phone for notes, but maybe you're that person in a group where when everybody starts getting crazy, when the storms start picking up, you're at work and nobody's meeting the deadlines, or everybody is just in a swarm about things, or the company's about to shut down, or the boss just moved. You are calm, cool, and collective. And people are like, what is that about you? That's how you lead with your spirit, with your when I say energy, I mean your Christ like spirit. That's all. That's it. I ain't talking about the spooky, scary energy, but yeah. So but I want to give y'all an example, y'all. Think about like a pilot, right? A plane pilot. If y'all ever been flying or you've seen flights or something like that, there's a pilot, right? And this pilot controls where these people go. If they land safely, he controls everything in the air. So imagine God puts you to be a pilot somewhere, right? But let's just take us out of it and just say you go on a plane, right? And there's a pilot, and they literally are in control of what's going on. Now, this pilot, they control the plane, but they also control what's called emotional climate. Okay. Now, say that there was turbulence going on, right? Y'all, if y'all flew or you see videos where turbulence comes, people start shaking, like things start, in the crazy scenarios, things start shifting or whatever the case may be, people get sick, right? Imagine if you were on this plane and this pilot came out with the turbulence. It's like, oh my God, everything is falling apart right now. We might not, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't even want to say the word. Think about what would happen if the pilot came out of his pit to tell all the people on the plane that. People will start getting up out of their seat. People will start yelling. You'll see people gasping for air. You'll see people climbing over each other. Somebody might try to run into the pilot pit and start controlling things on their own, right? But The craziest thing, I'm sure, even when planes do crash, this pilot has a commitment to stay calm, cool, and collected no matter what happens, because he ultimately controls the emotional climate. And so that's what we do when God puts us in positions. It's not that there's not turbulence. It's not that things are not happening. That they could be completely falling apart, to be honest. But we are to stay anchored because we know that God has a plan, that God is going to take care of it. We even know on the boat when Jesus' disciples like, we're about to die, the water's crashing, it's about to take us out, and Jesus like wakes up out of his nap like and just tells everything calm down. This is the God that we serve. Okay. So I want to talk about what happens when we crash out. But let me give y'all what even really, I was talking about this earlier, like this interview I was watching yesterday, because I like hip hop culture and stuff too. You know, I grew up on it. And this is a worldly example, but I'm gonna bring it and let you understand it in a bigger scope. So I was watching this interview yesterday. It was an old interview of like the craziest snippets on Nori's podcast, right? Drink Champs. And one of the snippets was where this man goes on to Drink Champs and he starts talking about the rapper Two Chains. And there's there's a guy who's on there. I don't even remember the other guy rapper's name. Let's just call him Tommy the Rapper. Tommy the Rapper is on Nori's podcast, and what's going on is Nori calls up Two Chains because Tommy said that he punked Two Chains in the past, right? And so Nori is bringing them face to face. If y'all, real side note, if y'all see this, remember I told y'all I fell. Like it's healing now, but that's what I meant. I physically was on a run a couple of maybe like 2 weeks ago now, and I fell and scraped up a couple of parts of my body. So yeah, that's what I meant by I fell. But back to the story. So what happens is Nori has Tommy on in person. He has Two Chains on the phone, and Nori is addressing it. He's like, "Hey, Tommy is here. Tommy said that he had punked you in person, and I just wanted to connect y'all." And Two Chains, in the beginning, he was calm. He was like, "You know what, man? I ain't even got time for this, right?" And they was like, "All right, you know what? We gonna let you go." Then all of a sudden, y'all, Two Chains went off. He started saying, "Your mama's the anybody attached to you is a." He went off. He went crazy, and he lost his self control. And what happens is you look at this situation and you realize that when we lose our self control in these moments, number one, it means that someone else is controlling us. Not saying that they're, you know what I'm saying? People, we all have done it. We're human. So I'm not saying that. But as we become more mindful of being rooted in God, we realize like when you lose your temper, you lose self control. And when you lose self control, you lose influence. Because the moment that he called for a response and he was about to hang up off the phone and say, "Man, you know what? I don't have time for this." That man had no power. He had no influence. Even though he was saying that, his words had no influence. But the moment that he lost his temper, he started cussing, he started yelling, that man had control over him. And when someone else can control us, we lose influence. Now, why would I say this? Because this is the same thing in the real world. And this is one of the fruits of the spirit. The fruits of the spirit is self-control, right? And it's harder than you think. It's easy to have self-control when it's just something that naturally comes to you. It's hard to have self-control when someone has really been pushing your buttons, when someone's really been disrespecting you, or when it's something hard that you have to do that you really don't want to do. And it made me also think, going to the Bible, it made me think about Jesus, right? Like, you got to think about this. Jesus really had to use self-constraint, self-control in order to maintain his influence on humanity overall. When it was time for him, it was getting close to him to go on that cross, to have to die, right? Jesus literally went to the Father and was like, "Lord, if this cup could pass, please let it pass," right? But he didn't crash out. You know how many times Jesus could have rightfully crashed out with all he came to save humanity that hated him, like, but he still had to go on the cross for him. He could have literally been like, "You know what, God, I'm tired of this. I'm here trying to save these people. They fighting me. They telling me that my works is from the devil. They saying I'm a fraud. They coming up against me." He could have crashed out legit. But if you ever notice in those moments where people will call Jesus like a fraud or something like that, he would calmly, a lot of times, respond with like something to make their minds think, but he never crashed out. And this is the example that we have to use, because as Christians, we do not get to crash out. This is the cost of crashing out. there's a couple of things that I'm gonna go over. The cost of crashing out is that you end up cutting your reliance on God, right? Because if God says cast all his cares, but you crash out, that means that you took all your cares and crashed out. You just threw it, slung it, put it out in the world, right? Another thing is that you don't allow for God to be able to resolve it. When we crash out, it's almost like our own release of issues instead of casting them on Him. And then on top of that, we end up weighing other people down or going off on other people. And now they're experiencing this heaviness, this negativity, versus going ahead and casting it to God. And it's like, so what do we do about this, right? If Christians can't crash out, like Two Chains crashed out. I don't know if you're a Christian or not, but even Christians want to crash out sometimes, especially as a Christian, when you believe in Christ, when you're trying to live your life like Christ and you constantly getting persecuted. But what do? We have to, number one, this is so important. And this is to take it to God. Like, I was literally about to crash out the other day, and I was calling, and then I had called my friend to vent on her. And this is what I mean by weighing somebody else down with a problem they can't handle or can't solve. I was about to call my friend and tell her about what I wanted to crash out about. And God convicted me in that moment. It was like, come talk to me. And do y'all know, all I did was journal for like 15 minutes, 10 minutes, and the crash out went away and the problem went away. And today the problem got solved. But imagine if I just crashed out. Not only did I crash out, I left that negative energy towards my friend. Now she feeling way down for the day, and it's causing a bunch of issues where I'm supposed to be in a community with these people, and it's just not worth it. Am I saying never talk to people? No, we can talk to people, but sometimes even our life is a witness to people. When you crash out, it kind of blinds them from experiencing the God in you, because now they seeing you as just going off, having no self control, when that was the very thing that they admired. And then when you do have somebody, this was so, man, in today's morning meeting, they were just talking about like this is one of those things where I think everybody appreciates or should appreciate, is finding someone who doesn't change their opinion about you based off of how you are showing up in that moment. Because a lot of people, we live in a world where literally they can change their opinion. You could be a Christian and you do one thing and they just like, I don't need, they throw away the whole baby with the bathwater, right? But finding somebody that you can share what you're really going through, share your burdens with them, and they don't think less of you. They don't see less of you because you might have had a mini crash out moment. But what you do not want to do is crash out publicly. Number one, go to God. And number two, find somebody who sees you as who you truly are, and not just a moment where you have a weakness or emotional disturbance in your life and you just want to talk it out. But like I say, y'all, Christians, we do not have the luxury to crash out, because what's the first thing what happens when a Christian crashes out? What happened when Kurt Franklin crashed out? They said, oh, I thought he was a Christian. Yeah. I thought he was a Christian. So I don't know, y'all. I just know, even in my own life, that this has been a true testament of people really relying on us as believers to be rooted in what God said when it's the hardest, when it's hard not to crash out, when everybody is crashing out. And that is when you come up as set apart, because you don't respond like everybody else does. But I hope this message bless y'all. I hope whatever you're going through, really, I challenge y'all, take it to God. Comment below if you got this far. I'm gonna take it to God. Like, and really do take it to God. Like, I don't care if it's your best friend getting on your nerves for the day. Take it to God. I don't care if it's your boss getting on your nerves. Take it to God. I don't care if your kids keep doing the same thing. Take it to God. But like, in this season and all seasons, we got to take it to God before people, because He's the only one who can really change things. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in for this video, man. I'm glad to be back. All right, I love y'all, and I'm out.